Look at all the media headlines and social media buzz coming out of Baghdad this morning. There is a lot of talk about early morning raids and high-profile targets in handcuffs. Prime Minister al-Zaidi wants you to believe that this is the dawn of a new Iraq. He wants the cameras rolling, the flashing lights, the carefully managed imagery of a young, energetic, reform-minded businessman finally cleaning house in what Transparency International has frequently ranked amongst the most corrupt countries on the planet. But let's look past the theatre. Who did they actually pick up at dawn? A few mid-level procurement directors, some convenient expendable fall guys from the ministries, and even relatives of former prime ministers. They're catching the little fish and tossing them into the net, thinking they're going to satisfy a gullible public starving for accountability. But what about the fat whales of corruption, the apex predators of Iraqi kleptocracy? They aren't just swimming free. They built the tank that they now want you to believe is getting a good flush. Nouri al-Maliki, a Shi'i Islamist and one of Tehran's most powerful men in Baghdad, is still sitting comfortably in his palaces, pulling the strings of the pro-Iran coordination framework. This is the man under whose watch hundreds of billions of dollars simply evaporated into shell companies, cross-border currency scams, and ghost soldiers that allowed a third of Iraq to fall to ISIS in 2014. Maliki is still the ultimate kingmaker in Baghdad, and he works at the beck and call of his Iranian handlers with a quiet nod from Uncle Sam in the corner. Let's be entirely honest here. Pretty much the entire system is corrupt, and even the people doing the arresting probably need to be arrested for the same charge. We don't even need to delve too far back into history to see this is the case. We saw this exact same script under Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi, who said he'd root out corruption and take down the militias. None of that happened. We saw it under Prime Minister Mohammed al-Sudani. He re-established the Supreme Anti-Corruption Authority, only for his claimed ambitions to evaporate faster than a raindrop in a Baghdad summer. Every single premier walks through the door promising to break the back of corruption, and every single one achieves next to nothing. Why? Because you cannot use a broken, fundamentally compromised apparatus to fix a broken, fundamentally compromised state staffed by broken and fundamentally compromised politicians. So why now? Why these specific raids right now in the summer of 2026? Primarily, it's due to the Iraqi political class's fears after they've seen Iran be forced on the back foot for the first time in 2 decades. Just look around the region. The Assad regime in Syria is gone, cutting off Iran's land bridge to Lebanon. And speaking of Lebanon, Hezbollah has been battered into a punishing ceasefire, and the Lebanese state is now cutting deals with Israel. And following the devastating military strikes on Iran last summer and earlier this spring, the Islamic Republic is being made to bleed in public fashion, making its cronies start to feel shivers of fear about what might happen to them as Tehran's clients. The political elite in Baghdad are suddenly feeling very cold, very exposed, and deeply terrified. This isn't an anti-corruption drive, it's a survival play. Zaidi is putting on a high-stakes show for Trump in Washington. His own former financial vehicle, Al-Janub Islamic Bank, was blocked by the US Treasury a couple of years ago for illicit dollar flows, and it has been suggested that he was the Shi'i militia's money launderer. He knows exactly how vulnerable his administration is to American economic pressure should the US decide to abandon their Iraqi Frankenstein's monster of a democracy. This morning's raids are cheap political theater designed to convince the Trump administration that Baghdad is a compliant and stabilizing partner. It is a desperate attempt to provide enough distraction so that Uncle Sam doesn't take direct action against them as what they truly are. Simple, corrupt extensions of a wounded regime in Tehran. But a few handcuffs on minor players won't hide the structural rot. Until you bring the whales like Maliki to very public justice, the system remains exactly what it has always been. A mafia masquerading as a government.